My brother Marcus has always been the family success story. The golden child. The one who could do no wrong. I'm Elena. The disappointment. The one who never lived up to her potential. Marcus graduated from Stanford Business School in 2015. Dad threw him a party with 200 guests. There were speeches. A video montage. Dad actually cried during his toast about how proud he was. I graduated from MIT with a dual degree in computer science and economics that same year. I got a card in the mail. It said, "Congratulations. Love, Mom and Dad." That should have told me everything I needed to know about how the next decade would go. Marcus started a consulting firm in Denver called Apex Strategic Solutions in 2016. Dad invested $500,000. Mom told everyone at church. Aunts and uncles shared his LinkedIn post. Cousins asked for business advice. I started working as a software engineer at a tech startup. Nobody asked about my job. When I mentioned it at Thanksgiving, Dad said, "That's nice, honey. Marcus, tell everyone about your new client." By 2018, Marcus had moved his company into a beautiful office space in the Lodo district. Exposed brick. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A conference room with a glass table that seated 20. I attended the open house. The whole family came. Dad gave another speech about entrepreneurship and legacy. Marcus showed everyone around like he was giving a tour of the Sistine Chapel. "This is what success looks like," he told me privately, gesturing at the space. "Maybe someday you'll have something like this." I smiled. Maybe. What he didn't know, I'd been buying commercial real estate since 2017. My first job out of MIT was at a startup that got acquired by Google for $340 million in 2016. My stock options were worth $2.8 million after taxes. I didn't tell my family. Why would I? They'd made it clear that Marcus was the business mind. I was just the quiet one who played with computers. So I stayed quiet. And I invested. I bought my first commercial property in 2017. A small office building in Boulder. $1.2 million. I rented it out to 3 tech startups. Positive cash flow from day one. My second property came 6 months later. An office complex in Denver Tech Center. $3.4 million. 6 tenants. All long-term leases. By 2019, I had a portfolio worth $18 million across Colorado. That's when the building became available. Marcus had been renting office space in the Lodo district for 3 years. His company was growing. He had 15 employees. He'd tell anyone who would listen that he was building an empire. The building he rented space in was a converted warehouse. 6 floors. Exposed brick. Massive windows. 22 office suites. In March 2019, the owner died. His estate put the building on the market for $14 million. I bought it in cash through my LLC, Catalyst Properties Holdings, in April 2019. Marcus never knew. His rent checks went to a property management company. His lease agreement had the LLC name on it, not mine. The property managers handled everything. I owned the building my brother's office was in. And he had no idea. For the next 4 years, life continued as normal. Marcus's company grew. By 2023, he had 23 employees. He'd expanded to take up the entire 3rd floor of the building. His company did $4.7 million in revenue that year. Dad bragged to everyone. Mom posted about it on Facebook. Extended family asked Marcus for business advice at every holiday gathering. I continued my work in tech. In 2020, I joined a fintech startup as their VP of engineering. We scaled from 30 employees to 200. We raised a Series C for $85 million. My equity was now worth approximately $12 million on paper. I also continued buying real estate. By 2023, my portfolio was worth $47 million. I owned 12 commercial properties across Colorado and Utah. Nobody in my family asked about my work. When they did, the questions were surface level. "Still doing the computer thing? That's nice, honey. Marcus just landed a $2 million client." At Christmas 2022, Marcus announced he was buying a house in Cherry Creek. $2.4 million. 5 bedrooms. Home theater. Wine cellar. Dad stood up and hugged him. "This is what I'm talking about. Real success. Real wealth." Mom cried happy tears. I was sitting right there. I'd owned a $3.8 million penthouse in downtown Denver since 2021. Nobody knew. Nobody asked. That was fine. I didn't need the attention. What I didn't realize, Marcus's success was about to become a weapon. The shift happened slowly then all at once. In early 2023, Marcus started making comments about my career. Still working for someone else? He'd ask at family dinners. Must be nice to have a boss. How's the 9-to-5 treating you? Some people are entrepreneurs. Some people are employees. Both are necessary. Dad would laugh. Mom would change the subject. But the message was clear. I was the lesser sibling. By mid-2023, Marcus started inviting me to lunch. He'd frame it as brother-sister bonding, but every conversation turned into business advice. You should think about starting something, he'd say. You're smart enough. You just lack vision. The problem with people like you is you're afraid to take risks. If you ever want to stop playing it safe, I could mentor you. I'd nod, smile, say thank you, and I'd go back to managing my $47 million real estate portfolio. Then came Thanksgiving 2023. The whole family gathered at Mom and Dad's house. 30 people. Turkey. Football. The usual chaos. Marcus stood up after dinner and made an announcement. I wanted everyone to hear this together, he said. Apex Strategic Solutions is expanding. We're opening a second office in Boulder. We're projecting $8 million in revenue for 2024. Applause. Congratulations. Dad shook his hand. Then Marcus looked at me. Elena, I know you've been struggling to find your path, he said in front of everyone. If you ever want to learn how business really works, I'd be happy to bring you on. Entry-level position. You could learn from the ground up. The room went quiet. Mom looked at me hopefully. Dad nodded encouragingly. Cousins waited for my response. I smiled. That's very generous, Marcus. I'll think about it. What I didn't say, I owned the building his office was in. His company paid me $28,000 a month in rent through his lease agreement. I'd made $1.4 million from his rent alone over the past 4 years. But I stayed quiet. I wasn't hiding. I was watching. January 2024 arrived with new energy. Marcus's company had a strong end to 2023. He was confident, aggressive. He'd hired 3 new consultants and was negotiating 2 major contracts. He started inviting me to visit his office. Come see what real business looks like, he'd text. I'd make excuses. Too busy. Deadlines. Travel. But in February he wore me down. Come on, he said on the phone. 1 hour. Let me show you what I've built. Maybe it'll inspire you to finally do something with your life. I agreed to visit on a Tuesday afternoon. I arrived at 2 p.m. The building I owned. The office he rented. Marcus greeted me in the lobby like a CEO welcoming a dignitary. Firm handshake. Big smile. Welcome to Apex, he said. He gave me the full tour. The open workspace. The conference rooms. The kitchen with the espresso machine. The collaboration areas with whiteboards covered in strategy diagrams. His employees were polite. Professional. They clearly respected him. This is what 23 people and 4 years of hard work looks like. Marcus said as we stood in his corner office. This is what happens when you're willing to take risks. I nodded. It's impressive. It could be your future too, he said. If you're willing to learn. If you're willing to put in the work instead of just collecting a paycheck from some tech company. Something in his tone bothered me. But I stayed calm. I appreciate the offer, I said. We went to the conference room. He showed me a presentation about the company's growth trajectory. Slides about revenue. Client acquisition. Market expansion. We're going to need more space soon, he said. This building has been perfect but we're outgrowing it. What will you do? I asked. Probably move to a bigger location, he said. Or buy this building ourselves. Dad's been talking about investing more capital. I sipped my coffee. Said nothing. The visit ended with Marcus walking me to the elevator. Think about my offer, he said. You're 33, Elena. Time to stop playing it safe and start building something real. The elevator doors closed. I stood there for a moment. Looked at the directory on the wall. 3rd floor. Apex Strategic Solutions. My building. My tenant. My $28,000 monthly rent payment. I walked out to my car and drove home. That night Marcus texted, "Good seeing you today. Offer stands. Let me know." I didn't respond. March arrived with chaos. Marcus's company landed a huge contract. $3.2 million over 2 years with a healthcare conglomerate. It was the biggest deal in Apex's history. Dad threw Marcus a celebration dinner. The whole family came. Steaks, wine, champagne toasts. "This is what happens when you have vision," Dad said, raising his glass. "When you're not afraid to dream big." Everyone cheered. I sat at the end of the table, quiet, smiling politely. After dinner Marcus pulled me aside. "I meant what I said," he told me. "The offer for you to join Apex. It's real. But it's not going to be available forever." "I appreciate it," I said. "Do you?" he asked. His tone shifted. Harder. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're wasting your life. You're 33. No business. No real career trajectory. You work for someone else making probably what, $120,000 a year?" "Something like that," I said quietly. "That's what I thought," he said. "Elena, I'm trying to help you. But you have to want to help yourself." I nodded. "I understand." "Do you?" he pressed. "Because I don't think you do. I think you've gotten comfortable being mediocre. And that's sad." Something in me snapped. Not anger. Just clarity. I looked at my brother. Really looked at him. "Marcus," I said calmly, "I'm fine. But thank you for your concern." He shook his head. "You're not fine. But okay. Keep telling yourself that." The dinner ended. I drove home. That night I made a decision. I wasn't going to tell my family about my success. But I also wasn't going to tolerate Marcus's condescension anymore. If he wanted to see me as a failure, fine. But I was done pretending his opinion mattered. April 2024 brought the breaking point. Marcus texted me, "Come to the office Friday at 2 p.m. Need to talk." I arrived on time. He met me in the lobby. "Come upstairs," he said. We rode the elevator in silence. 3rd floor. His domain. He led me to his office and closed the door. "I'm going to be direct," he said. "Dad's been talking about his estate planning. He's dividing assets between us. But he's concerned about you." "Concerned how?" I asked. "About your financial stability," Marcus said. "You don't own property. You don't have a business. You're just coasting. He's worried that if something happened to him, you wouldn't be okay." I stayed quiet. "So here's what I'm proposing," Marcus continued. "I'll buy you out of your inheritance now. Dad's portion would be about $400,000 for each of us. I'll give you $300,000 cash today. You can use it as a down payment on a house. Start building some real equity." I stared at him. "You want to buy my inheritance?" "For your benefit," he said. "So you can actually start building wealth instead of just existing paycheck to paycheck." "And you discussed this with Dad?" I asked. "He thinks it's a good idea," Marcus said. "He wants to make sure you're taken care of. This way you get capital now when you need it. I get more stake in the family business properties Dad owns. Everyone wins." I leaned back in my chair. "That's very generous." "I'm trying to help you," he said. "But you have to accept help, Elena." I looked around his office. The desk. The view. The framed photos of him with clients. All in my building. "I need to think about it," I said. His expression hardened. "There's nothing to think about. This is a good deal. Unless you're too proud to accept help from your successful brother." "It's not about pride," I said. "Then what's it about?" he demanded. "Because from where I'm sitting, you're about to turn down a lifeline because you can't admit you need one." I stood up. I said, "I'll think about it." "Sit down," Marcus said. "We're not done talking." "Actually we are," I said. His face flushed red. "You know what your problem is, Elena? You've never understood how the real world works. You live in this fantasy where your little tech job matters. But it doesn't. You're 33 and you have nothing to show for your life." I walked toward the door. "Don't walk away from me," Marcus said, his voice rising. "I'm trying to help you and you're being ungrateful and childish." I opened the door. "You're a failure," Marcus said behind me. "And you're too stubborn to admit it." I walked out of his office. Through the workspace. Past his employees who had stopped typing to watch the commotion. I reached the elevator. Press the button. Marcus appeared in the hallway. Fine, he yelled. Go back to your mediocre life. But don't come crying to me when you finally realize you wasted your potential. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside. This building is for real entrepreneurs, Marcus shouted. Not people who are too scared to take risks. The doors started to close. Pack your shit if you're ever here again, he yelled. This space is for people who actually matter. The doors closed. I rode the elevator down in silence, walked to my car, drove home, and made a phone call. Friday night I called my property manager. I need you to deliver something Monday morning, I said. To Apex Strategic Solutions. 3rd floor. Addressed to Marcus Chen, CO. What are we delivering? She asked. A lease violation notice and eviction proceedings, I said. I'm terminating their lease effective immediately for violations of Section 12, Clause 4, harassment of property ownership. Ms. Chen, she said carefully, that's going to create significant legal complications for you. No, I said. It's going to create complications for him. I want it delivered at 9 a.m. Monday. By courier. With documentation of everything. Everything, she asked. Property ownership records. Purchase date. LC documentation. Is 4 years of rent payments. All of it. There was a pause. Are you sure? Very sure, I said. It's time my brother learned who owns the building he's been working in. Understood, she said. I'll prepare everything. I hung up. Saturday and Sunday passed slowly. I didn't hear from Marcus. Didn't hear from family. I spent the weekend reviewing documentation, making sure every detail was perfect. Monday morning arrived. I woke up at 6 a.m., made coffee, sat on my balcony overlooking downtown Denver. At 8:45 a.m. my phone rang. Property manager. The courier is on his way, she said. He'll be there at 9 a.m. exactly. Thank you, I said. I waited. At 9:47 a.m., my phone started ringing. Marcus. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. And again. At 10:03 a.m. a text arrived. Call me now. Another text. What the fuck did you do? Another. This is a joke, right? This has to be a mistake. I didn't respond. At 10:17 a.m. Dad called. I answered. Elena, Dad said. His voice was tight. Marcus just called me. He's saying you own his building? That you sent him an eviction notice. That's correct, I said calmly. What are you talking about? Dad demanded. How could you own that building? I bought it in April 2019, I said. For $14 million. In cash. Through my LLC, Catalyst Properties Holdings. Silence. That's not possible, Dad said. You don't have $14 million. I had $18 million in 2019, I said. My current portfolio is worth about $47 million. The building Marcus rents from is one of 12 commercial properties I own. More silence. You're lying, Dad said. I'm not, I said. Marcus has been paying me $28,000 a month in rent for the past 4 years. I've made $1.4 million from his company alone. Why would you do this? Dad asked. Why would you hide this from us? I didn't hide it, I said. Nobody ever asked. Don't give me that, Dad snapped. You deliberately kept this from the family. Did I asked. Or did everyone just assume Marcus was the only successful one? Did anyone ever ask about my career? My finances? My life? Dad didn't answer. Friday afternoon, I continued, Marcus told me I was a failure. He said this building was for real entrepreneurs. He told me to pack my shit. So I'm granting his wish. He has 30 days to vacate the premises. Elena, Dad said, his voice changing. Softer. Let's talk about this. Don't make rash decisions. It's not rash, I said. It's been 4 years overdue. You can't kick your brother out, Dad said. His whole business is there. His employees. His clients. He should have thought about that before he decided I didn't matter, I said. Elena, please, Dad said. Let's have a family meeting. We can work this out. There's nothing to work out, I said. Marcus violated his lease agreement. He has 30 days. The property management company will handle everything from here. I hung up. The next 72 hours were chaos. Monday afternoon, 23 calls from Marcus. 17 from Dad. 8 from Mom. 12 from extended family members who'd somehow heard. I didn't answer any of them. Tuesday morning, Marcus showed up at my building. Security called me. "There's a Marcus Chin here demanding to see you," the security guard said. "Tell him I'm not available," I said. "He's very insistent," the guard said. "He says he's your brother. Tell him to contact my property management company for all matters related to his lease," I said. Marcus left. Tuesday afternoon, a lawyer called. Marcus had hired an attorney. "Miss Chin," the lawyer said, "I represent Apex Strategic Solutions. We'd like to discuss the lease termination. All communications should go through my property management company and my attorney," I said. I gave him both numbers and hung up. Tuesday evening, Mom showed up at my penthouse. I let her in. "Elena," she said, crying. "What are you doing? Why are you trying to destroy your brother?" "I'm not destroying him," I said calmly. "I'm enforcing a lease agreement he violated." "He didn't violate anything," Mom said. "He just spoke honestly to you." "He told me to pack my shit," I said. "He called me a failure. He said the building was for real entrepreneurs." "In my building, Mom. The building I own." "You should have told us," Mom said. "You should have told us you were successful." "Why?" I asked. "So you could celebrate Marcus less? So Dad could actually acknowledge I exist." Mom's face crumpled. "That's not fair. Isn't it?" I asked. "When's the last time anyone asked about my job, my life, anything that wasn't about Marcus?" She didn't answer. "I bought my first property in 2017, I said. "I've owned a $47 million real estate portfolio for years. I'm the VP of engineering at a fintech company worth $300 million. My equity alone is worth $12 million. I own a $3.8 million penthouse. And not one person in this family ever asked if I was okay, if I needed anything, if I was successful. Because you never told us," Mom whispered. "I shouldn't have had to," I said. "You're my family. You should have cared enough to ask." Mom left in tears. Wednesday morning, Dad called. I answered. "Your mother is devastated," he said. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said. "Elena, this needs to stop," Dad said. His voice was hard now. "I agree. You're tearing this family apart over your ego." "My ego?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "You're mad that Marcus got attention. So you're punishing him." "I'm enforcing a legal agreement," I said. "Nothing more." "We need to talk," Dad said. "As a family. Saturday. My house. Everyone will be there." "I don't think that's a good idea," I said. "I'm not asking," Dad said. "You will be there. Or you're out of this family permanently." He hung up. Saturday arrived with gray skies and cold wind. I drove to my parents' house at 2 p.m. Every family member's car was in the driveway. Dad, Marcus, Aunt Linda, Uncle Tom, cousins. This was an intervention. I walked in. Everyone was sitting in the living room. Silent. Waiting. "Elena," Dad said. "Sit down." I sat. Marcus was across from me. His eyes were red. He looked like he hadn't slept. "We're here," Dad said, "because this situation has gotten out of control. Elena, you're destroying your brother's business over a personal grudge." "I'm not destroying anything," I said. "I'm terminating a lease he violated." "You own the building," Marcus said, his voice breaking. "You've owned it this whole time. And you never told me." "You never asked," I said. "Why would I ask?" Marcus shouted. "You're my little sister. You work at a tech company. How was I supposed to know you're secretly a real estate mogul?" "Maybe by talking to me?" I said. "Maybe by asking about my life instead of assuming you were the only successful person in the family?" "That's not fair," Marcus said. "Isn't it?" I asked. "You offered me an entry-level position at your company. You called me a failure. You tried to buy out my inheritance because you thought I was broke. You did all of this while paying me $28,000 a month in rent." The room went silent. "You humiliated me," Marcus whispered. "You let me lecture you about business while you secretly owned my building." "I didn't humiliate you," I said. You humiliated yourself. Elena, Mom said, you have to understand how this looks. You hid your success. You let us think you were struggling. And now you're using it as a weapon. I never hid anything, I said. I just stopped sharing. Because every time I tried I was ignored. Dismissed. Talked over. So I stopped trying. That's a lie, Dad said. Is it? I asked. Dad, when did you last ask about my job? He didn't answer. When did anyone ask if I needed help? If I was happy? If I was successful? I looked around the room. When did any of you see me as anything other than Marcus's disappointing little sister? We love you, Mom said. Do you? I asked. Because it's felt like conditional love for the past decade. Love if I celebrated Marcus. Love if I stayed quiet. Love if I accepted being less. Aunt Linda spoke up. Elena, honey, you have to see how this looks. You're punishing Marcus because he's successful. No, I said. I'm protecting myself from someone who spent years treating me like I was worthless. And that person happens to be my brother. Marcus stood up. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I didn't know. I'm sorry I said those things. But you can't destroy my business over this. I'm not destroying your business, I said. I'm giving you 30 days to find new office space. The same courtesy I'd give any tenant who violated their lease. This is different, Marcus said. I'm your brother. Exactly, I said. You're my brother. And you treated me worse than I'd treat a stranger. Elena, Dad said, standing up. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to withdraw the eviction notice. You're going to extend Marcus's lease. And we're going to move forward as a family. No, I said. Excuse me. Dad said. No, I repeated. I'm not withdrawing anything. Marcus has 30 days. Then you're not welcome in this family anymore, Dad said. I stood up. I stopped being welcome years ago. I just didn't realize it. I walked toward the door. Elena, Mom called. Please don't do this. I turned back. I'm not doing anything, Mom. I'm just done pretending that being invisible was the same as being loved. I left. The next 2 weeks were silent. No calls. No texts. No contact. Marcus's attorney negotiated an extension. I agreed to 60 days instead of 30. Not as a favor. As a business decision. My property management company found 3 new potential tenants for the 3rd floor. All with better credit. Higher rent. Longer lease terms. Marcus's company began the process of moving. I heard through mutual business contacts that he'd found space in a different building. Smaller. More expensive. But available. I continued my life. My job. My investments. My routine. On a Tuesday morning 3 weeks after the family meeting, I received an email. From Marcus. Subject line, I need to talk to you. I deleted it without reading. An hour later, another email, please. I opened it. Elena. I've spent 3 weeks thinking about what happened. About what I said. About how I treated you. You were right. I didn't ask about your life. I didn't see you. I assumed I was the only one who mattered. And I'm sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to change your mind about the lease. I just need you to know that I understand now. You weren't hiding. I was just too arrogant to look. Marcus. I read it twice. Then I closed my laptop and went to a meeting. October 2024 arrived with golden leaves and cold mornings. Marcus's company had moved into their new space. Smaller. 3rd floor of a different building. Higher rent. I heard through the family grapevine that his business was struggling. The move had been expensive. He'd lost 2 clients during the transition. Revenue was down. I didn't reach out. My portfolio hit $52 million. I promoted 2 senior engineers at my company. I bought another property in Salt Lake City. Life continued. On a Friday afternoon my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Elena. A woman's voice. Familiar. Yes. It's Rebecca. Marcus's wife. I hadn't spoken to Rebecca since the family meeting. Hi, I said cautiously. I know I have no right to ask this, Rebecca said. But I need to talk to you. In person. Just 30 minutes. Rebecca. Please, she said. It's not about the lease. Or the building. It's about Marcus. Something in her voice made me pause. Hey, I said. Coffee tomorrow morning? Thank you, she whispered. We met at a cafe in Capitol Hill. Rebecca looked tired. Thinner than I remembered. Thank you for meeting me, she said as we sat down. Of course, I said. What's going on? Rebecca took a breath. Marcus is not okay. The business is failing. We're burning through savings. He's not sleeping. He barely eats. And he won't talk to anyone. I stayed quiet. He's too proud to ask for help, Rebecca continued. But I'm not. Elena, I know what he did. I know what he said to you. And you had every right to do what you did. Rebecca. Let me finish, she said. Marcus has been the golden child his whole life. Everything came easy. Dad's approval. Success. Pain. And when you revealed that you'd been more successful than him all along, it shattered something in him. That's not my problem, I said gently. I know, Rebecca said. But I'm asking you to consider something. Not for Marcus. For yourself. What do you mean? You proved your point, Rebecca said. Everyone knows you're successful now. Marcus knows he was wrong. The family knows they ignored you. You won. But winning doesn't mean you have to keep punishing him forever. I looked at my coffee. I'm not punishing him. I'm just living my life. Are you? Rebecca asked. Because from where I'm sitting you're still carrying all that hurt. All that anger. And it's heavy. What are you asking me to do? I asked. Have coffee with him, Rebecca said. Just once. Let him apologize properly. Not to fix the business. Not to get something from you. Just to heal what's broken. I don't know if I can, I said. I understand, Rebecca said. But think about it. For yourself. Not for him. She left. I sat there for another hour. Thinking. 2 weeks later I called Marcus. He answered on the first ring. Elena. Hi, I said. Rebecca talked to me. Silence. I'm willing to have coffee, I said. One conversation. That's all I'm promising. Okay, Marcus said quietly. When? Saturday. 10 a.m. Same cafe. I'll be there, he said. Saturday arrived. I got there early. Ordered coffee. Waited. Marcus arrived at 9:55 a.m. He looked different. Older. Tired. Humble. Thank you for coming, he said as he sat down. I nodded. I don't know where to start, Marcus said. Start with the truth, I said. He took a breath. I was jealous of you. I blinked. What? I've been jealous of you since we were kids, Marcus said. You were smarter than me. You got into MIT. You understood things I had to work twice as hard to learn. And I hated it. I didn't know what to say. So I made myself into the golden child, Marcus continued. I worked harder. I got the praise. I built the image of success. And I convinced myself I'd won. That I was better. Marcus. But you were always ahead of me, he said. You just didn't need the applause. And that made me even more insecure. He looked at me. When I found out you owned the building, I wasn't just embarrassed. I was devastated. Because it meant everything I'd been telling myself was a lie. I wasn't competing with you, I said. I know, Marcus said. That's what makes it worse. You weren't even trying to beat me. You were just living your life. And you still won. This isn't about winning, I said. I know, he said. But that's how I saw it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for treating you like you didn't matter. I'm sorry for offering you an entry-level job. I'm sorry for calling you a failure. I'm sorry for all of it. I sat back. Do you know why I never told you about my success? Why? He asked. Because I didn't need to, I said. I didn't need Dad's praise. I didn't need Mom's Facebook posts. I didn't need anyone to validate that I was doing okay. I just needed to do the work. I wish I could be like that, Marcus said. You can, I said. You just have to stop measuring yourself against everyone else. We sat in silence for a moment. Your business is struggling, I said. Yeah, Marcus admitted. The move was expensive. We lost clients. It's been rough. What are you going to do? I asked. Figure it out, he said. Like I should have been doing all along instead of performing for Dad. I nodded. Good. Elena, Marcus said, I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking for help with the business. I'm just asking if someday we can rebuild something. As siblings. Not competitors. I looked at my brother. Really looked at him. Maybe, I said. But it's going to take time. I understand, he said. We finished our coffee. Talked about small things. Weather. Rebecca's new job. Nothing important. When we left, Marcus hugged me. Thank you, he whispered. I hugged him back. Don't make me regret this, I said. I won't, he promised. November 2025. Marcus's company survived. Barely. He downsized to 12 employees. Focused on 3 core clients. Stopped chasing the appearance of success and started building something sustainable. Dad and I still haven't spoken much. Mom tries. I let her. The extended family gossips. I don't care anymore. My portfolio hit $61 million. I got promoted to Chief Technology Officer at my company. We're preparing for an IPO. Marcus and I have coffee once a month. We talk about business, life, mistakes we've made. He's different now. Humbler. More honest. Last week he asked for my advice on a real estate investment. I gave it. Not because I forgave him, but because I'm ready to stop carrying the weight of what happened. Rebecca was right. Winning isn't about punishment. It's about freedom. And I'm finally free.